The names are still being vetted through all the processes that have to go on to secure the names that we're going to call them. You know, for years I would always put a Z after everything. That wasn't just us being cute, because I know everybody thought, we were just being silly by putting it's to get something trademarked. Because everything is trademarked in this day and age. Everything is, so it's difficult to find names, come up with names that somebody else has a trademark for a book or a video game or a movie. So the names of these scare zones are still being finalized, but the entry one is kind of traditional Halloween.
Yes, very traditional Halloween.
We kind of wanted to go back to like that traditional Halloween look. This is the Chainsaw Brigade. We'll keep blasting through these. Next one. Some of the mask designs for our chainsaw performers. So basically all pumpkin-headed guys. Next one. Some more in the same vein.
So, in respect to casting, Scott Kleckner, our director of casting as well, who goes, and he does all the casting. I just wanted to mention him.
Scott's been with us since the very beginning. Next slide, please. We also have Scarecrow chainsaw performers. This is the look of some of those. This is all when you first come into the park. Next, please. Brought a couple of blasts from the past back. The one with the teddy bear head was so bizarre and weird. It was in the Purge Gauntlet last year. But I just loved it. Every time I saw that character, I just smiled. I just thought he was strangely creepy. So we brought him back for the Scare Zone. And also a character called Bad Bunny that we had in the Toys Scare Zone years ago. We decided to bring back Bad Bunny and make him join the Scare Zone as well. Next one. Just some more of the characters that are going to be in the Top Deck Scare Zone. Next one. This one I really did.
Oh, yeah.
Just a variation on your traditional kind of Halloween guy in a white sheet. Next one. Yeah. And then I think I've maybe a couple more from this Scare Zone. Go ahead.
You guys are so lucky to see all this, actually.
I didn't actually ask permission. I hope we weren't going to announce this separately in the press release. I just decided to announce it today. Is that okay? Okay. This is a still walker on the top deck, kind of traditional Halloween werewolf, and then a skeleton one after that. Yep. And then next slide, we've got, so there's the walk to the back lot. You're actually walking through the backstage of the movie studio, basically. So there's that big tunnel you have to walk through. So Chris and I always have to come up with, working with a guy named Pat Quinn, who works on our team, and does a lot of work on the scare zones and the decor in the park. We always have to come up with a theme, and we're like, well, it's a tunnel. It's pretty much not going to change being a tunnel, so it's got to be tunnel themed. So Pat came up with this idea. Actually, it was like as if a bunch of Con Edison workers or guys were going to do some work in a tunnel, and there was a horrific gas leak that turned them all into hideous monsters. So this is one of those looks. I think I have another one on the next slide. This one, his gas mask is like literally melted to his face. But that's kind of the look of that particular Scare Zone. And then down at Metro Set, next slide, we're doing, the Scare Zone down there is going to be like urban hell. It's going to basically be New York City in the 1970s, essentially, because that's what New York was like. But it's going to be an urban setting, but it's going to be hell on earth. So there's all kinds of different characters we're designing for that Scare Zone. We're changing up the way that you go through it. It's going to be a little bit more like our Gauntlet was upstairs last year, a lot more twists and turns. This is the goat-legged fellow. I forget his name.
Goat Executioner.
Goat Executioner, there we go. Next one. This is his fellow executioners. Next one. One of our devil. This one is if like he was made of like earth that had cracked, like everything is all like if his face was made out of mud or something and he cracked. Next one.
We were looking at his costume actually. A lot of these costumes that you see that have a lot of tatteredness and such, those are all custom costumes, built from scratch. Myself and Pat and John, we look at the textures that our costume people bring us as well. So, and honestly, what they do is they build one out of muslin that we can look at and see the form and then approve that. and then we will actually build an actual one. So there's a big process to this. So I know we usually don't talk a whole lot about costumes, but we have a big crew of people out in Glendale that are just cranking all these custom costumes out. So.
And one thing I've learned working with Chris all these years is that he really knows shoes particularly well.
A little bit. Are you even talking about the go-go's?
Yeah,
Oh.
you always know like stuff that I would never know. No shoes. Man who knows shoes.
I buy my wife shoes.
Do you?
Yeah.
How about these shoes?
Like heels.
Do you know I haven't worn white shoes since I was a freshman in high school? And I thought they were cool in God, that would have been like 81. And the football team during PE took my white shoes when I was out, running laps around the, football field and threw them in the shower. So I had to put them on.
Oh,
So
that sucks.
Have you ever been bullied in high school? This is like a high school bullied story. But do you know that scene in Creepshow where the guy buries him up to
Yes.
his neck and he drowns and he comes back and you hear this?
It's Ted Danson.
I had to walk down the hall in the high school because I was late for class because my clothes were all in the shower and it was like shh, shh, shh. So I finally got the courage to wear white shoes again. Totally uncool. Okay. Don't bully. All right, next slide. This is another still blocker. This is the king of hell, basically. And then I think we have his queen.
Yes.
Okay. And that's going to be down on the Metro side. All right. Next slide.